I'm getting a strong message from my guides to start to talk about this, although it is uncomfortable because it's not going to be a popular opinion as a white woman sharing views about certain offerings that are taking place at the minute. However, I'm being guided because it's something that continually comes up and is, I mean, maybe some people might call it a form of triggering, but I just feel when we are on a spiritual path and when we're consciously doing our healing work, and I don't mean healed 100%, I don't know if anybody ever gets there by the end of this lifetime, this human form, this human vessel, who knows? I'll let you know when I reach 100. But we, as a nation, cross culture, cross race, cross colour, cross sex, cross everything, are only going to heal fully in inclusive spaces where accessibility is granted to everybody. The more we move into this new paradigm, this new earth, this new reality, however we want to interpret that, and it will look very different for all of us because we're at different points of our healing journeys. Some are pushed into it, some are consciously doing it, some are being activated by the ascension, the energy that's coming in now, and ancestors. Don't ask me why one day, it's not like, don't ask me why this has come to me, like why as a white woman. And for me, I think my battery's going to die, but I've been called to share this. I've been called to Africa. I've been called into black spaces. I've been called into African spaces. I've been called to nurture beautiful relationships with people from all around the world, from all different walks of life and backgrounds and interest and cultures. But divisive and selective offerings are part of the old paradigm. That is what I am being told. I trust everybody needs to find and create their own we need to create our own safe and healing spaces. And not being black, I won't understand that struggle. I can only observe it from the outside, although I have very, very strong connection in past lives. So whether people choose to believe that I can relate in some form, in some of my ancestral DNA and memory to that struggle, that's not for me to say. I just know what I feel, what I hear, what triggers me, and why I've gravitated towards the countries and the people that I have in my life. But creating offerings for only one kind of person, one kind of race, is part of the old paradigm. They keep telling me this and that I'm meant to be sharing more on it, and it is really uncomfortable because it's going to get people's backs up. I'm going to trigger people because people will say it's not my place as a white woman to be doing this. And it gets me emotional because I don't want to tread on anybody's toes. There's no authority here. I'm not an authoritative voice, just a channel. And so as the new earth is here, as we embrace these new higher frequencies and dimensions, we realise that healing can only really be done in spaces where there is there is a diverse energy, background, perspective, culture, because then there is education on both sides and there is healing on both sides, and that will come through resistance and triggering, and discomfort, and this conversation, this share is endless because there are so many people that are experiencing it in very, very different ways right now. But as we see the wellness space and these psychedelic spaces open up and create offerings solely for one group of people, I find it very interesting, especially as someone I work for a client who gave me a brief and then midway changed the brief to an offering that I wouldn't have been able to go to. So I was promoting and putting my energy and my love, intentional love, without any thought of colour, culture, race, destination, whatever, difference. I was creating it for a global audience, and later on, halfway through this collaboration, they changed the brief, didn't tell me, and created it for an audience that I wouldn't be allowed to go to. Now, as somebody who acts with intention and transparency from day one, for me that was a trigger. For me, that is something that I find quite dishonourable. I find it quite... we're creating barriers and we're creating division where that is not a supportive energy for where we need to move to into New Earth for the healing of the nations. Creating more division and creating more labels and creating more divisive mechanisms, whether we intentionally do it or from a place of malevolence or benevolence, doesn't matter. It's still happening. And as a spiritual being, and we say, yeah, when we transcend colour and race and whatever, and I truly believe there is obviously a lot of healing being done on this, a lot of intentional healing being done on this, a lot of important healing being done on this. For me, I have to go by my personal experience, and this client that didn't give me the brief up front or changed it midway to an offering that I wouldn't have been able to go to, I find hard to accept in the world that we're moving into, in the world that I am trying to be a part of, to co-create with the nations, with everybody, because it doesn't help. We're only going to repeat karmic cycles. We're only going to go back to creating divisive spaces. And 7 minutes, I don't really know if there is much more to share today. Maybe this is just the introduction, because there obviously could be a backlash and whatever, and I think people know my intention is pure, my heart is pure, and I don't exclude anybody, but I'm finding it difficult. So this is my own healing and my own observations that I need to work through, and just move away from those spaces and let everybody just, we go where we're drawn. And I can't work with or be around people that still see divisive offerings, or only allowing one certain group of people to come to a healing space. I don't think that is aligned with the word healing. I don't feel, my guides have been saying to me, there is not unity, there is no Ubuntu from the intention. It's coming from a place of unhealed trauma. Because where we're moving to, new earth, new realities, whatever we decide to label this stuff, because words are just so misconstrued, and this message will be misconstrued, and this face and this colour will be misconstrued. But my message is of love. And when we create these spaces that don't allow certain people in, that's not created from love. It's created from an unhealed place. And no race is better than anybody. No one person is better than anybody. We are all created equal. We all have incredible physical, mental, and spiritual gifts that when we come together, regardless of our differences, we can enhance them, because we can start to share and see each other for the spirit beings that we are. Energy, not physical appearance, because as I said, I am going to obviously be presented as a white girl. I don't know why I said girl, because I'm certainly not a girl, but anyway, that's what people will think, because yeah, maybe I look like a young Bambi, a girl. However, the energies I'm connected to, what I've transitioned in my past lives, which I've had clear daily, weekly downloads, visions. I am not this. I am so much more. And until we move past what we see when we look at somebody, and we start to work in energetics, and we start to open our heart space, and we start to open our eyes and our soul to the energies around us, That is when the real healing happens, not in divisive spaces, not when you're saying, no, we're only allowing one person, one type of race, one type of person to come to this space to heal. And that's an observation. This is not coming from any place of disrespect. People will create, like, my words won't change things. I have to share my observations and what my guides are telling me, because we are not this. This is just a physical body, and we're not in the realm of being in 3D anymore. So I get frustrated that we're still perpetuating old timelines when we have this opportunity of cornucopia and beautiful abundance to be united. I just saw 144 go back on the clock, or 10:44. Interesting. I welcome difference of opinion. I don't want to put any cogs in the works of people creating offerings that they've worked hard on, but are we still there? Are we still in a place where we're only allowing certain people to come to our events, like this client of mine? No, I will not be working with people like that. I do not find that a loving intention. I don't believe that cannot come from the heart space. I think it's coming from a place of hurt and trauma.